Lancelot rose at dawn, returned to the nuns, and made the boy a knight at the morning service. "God make you a good man," he said. "You are already the best in looks. Now let us ride together to Camelot." But the new knight excused himself, promising he would be there at the appointed time. So Sir Lancelot returned alone to court to find all the knights assembled about the table, ready to take their appointed places. Above every seat was written in gold letters a knight's name. Only the perilous seat, in which no one might sit save for the one whom it was intended, was bare. However, as every knight took his place, letters of gold suddenly appeared upon the sacred seat. 500 years after the death of our Lord Jesus, this seat will be filled. All the company marveled at the sight, and Lancelot exclaimed, "The seat will surely be filled this very day, since this is the feast of Whitsunday, celebrating the coming of the Holy Ghost 500 years ago. Let us cover these letters until he comes, whose place it is." So they covered the perilous seat with a cloth of silk to conceal the words. That done, King Arthur bade them all sit down to supper. But before they could begin the meal, a squire entered and addressed the king. "Sire, I bring you the strangest tidings." "What are they?" asked Arthur. "I have just seen a great stone," said the squire, "floating along the river beyond the castle, and in the stone was a sword." "I shall see this marvel for myself," decided King Arthur. And accompanied by his knights, King Arthur went down to the river, and there found, just as truly as he'd been told, a red marble stone floating upon the river close by the bank, and in the stone was a fine, rich sword with hilt of precious stones, and there were words inscribed upon the sword: "Never shall I be drawn save by the best knight in all the world." When the king had read the words, he turned to Sir Lancelot. "Fair sir," he said, "this sword by rights belongs to you, for you are the best knight known to man." But Sir Lancelot thought with shame of his love for Queen Guinevere, and shook his head. "Sire, this sword is not for me, nor am I worthy to wear it by my side. Bad luck will come to him who tries to draw that sword if he is unworthy, of that I am sure." "Then, fair nephew," said the king to Sir Gawain, "you put your hand to withdraw it." But Sir Gawain too declined politely. At that the king grew angry and commanded Gawain to try his hand. So Gawain took the mighty sword by the hilt and tried to pull it out, to no avail. "I thank you for trying nonetheless," said the king to Gawain. Then at King Arthur's bidding, Sir Percival set his hand upon the sword and pulled with all his might, but he could not move it. Seeing that the two doughty knights had failed, no other knight dared set his hand to it, and the king did not oblige them. So the king and all the knights returned to court, and each one took his proper place, until there remained but a single seat empty, and that was the perilous. They had hardly put food into their mouths when a great rushing noise was heard throughout the castle, and all the doors and windows banged tight shut. Even so, most strangely, it was not dark at all. In the still hush that followed, there appeared an old man, clad all in white, leading a young knight, unarmed and dressed in red. "Peace be with you, fair lords," the ancient said. "I bring you a young knight of noble blood, a descendant of Joseph of Arimathea, he who brought Christ's cup, the Holy Grail, to Britain. With this night's coming, the glory of this court shall be complete." In the following silence, the old man led the younger up to the perilous seat next to Sir Lancelot, and drew aside the silken cloth so that all could clearly see the new letters written underneath. "This is the seat of Galahad, the High Prince." "Sir," said the old man, "as you see, the seat is yours." As the youthful figure calmly took his seat, So saying, he put his hand upon the sword hilt and lightly drew it out. Now I have the sword that once belonged to the good knight Sir Balin, with which he struck the unhappy blow against his beloved brother Balin. Pray God it will now be put to better use. We must celebrate these happenings and joust attorneys, said the king. I wish to see you all together in the meadow beyond the castle, so that after our deaths Sir Bagdemagus likewise rode to meet the charge, but was run through the shoulder by the other's lance and knocked senseless to the ground. Sir Knight, the White Knight said, you have done yourself great harm in taking up this shield. It should be borne only by him who has no living peer. And to Sir Bagdemagus' squire he said, take your master back to the abbey, and give this shield to the good knight Sir Galahad with my compliments. When the young squire made so bold as to ask his name, the White Knight grew angry. Take no heed of my name, he roared, it is not for you or any earthly man to know. So the squire set the badly wounded Bagdemagus upon his horse, and led him slowly back to the abbey, where he was laid gently in a bed, and had his wounds attended to, and he lay there a long time before he was fully healed. Meanwhile the squire handed Galahad the shield, telling him of what the White Knight had said, that the shield belonged to him alone. Blessed be the good fortune it brings me, cried Sir Galahad, and rode off through the valley. In a while he came to the glade where the White Knight stood waiting, and the two saluted one another. Tell me, sir, cried Galahad, the story of the shield I bear. That shield was made for Joseph of Arimathea in the city of Sardes, near Jerusalem, at the time Lord Jesus Christ was crucified, the White Knight said. When he left the Holy Land, Joseph came to Britain and brought the white shield with him. As he lay dying some years later, he drew a cross upon the shield in his own blood, and bequeathed it to Nathan the hermit. Since then the holy shield sung behind the altar in the abbey, awaiting your coming. Sir Galahad, last in line of Joseph's descendants. With that, the White Knight rode away, and was never seen again. Sir Galahad meanwhile rode off on his adventures, and shortly came to the parting of the ways, where stood a signpost saying, Knight errant, choose now your way. To the right is your journey's end, without venture. To the left is your goal, hard won. Sir Galahad did not hesitate. He took the left-hand path, and soon came to a thicket, just in time to see a strange knight strike down Sir Melias, one from the company of the Round Table. With a cry, Sir Galahad charged down on the strange knight, and as they clashed, his lance went through the other's shoulder, knocking him from his horse. At that instant, a second knight flew at Galahad from the trees and attacked him from behind. But Galahad turned just in time, and with his trusty sword cut off the man's left arm before the traitor turned and fled. After tending to Sir Melias, Sir Galahad went on his way, yet he had not ridden half a mile when he espied in a valley before him a strong castle with deep moats, and there beside it a wide river running. As he rode towards the castle, he was met by an old man, of whom he asked the castle's name. Fair sir, the old man said, that is the castle of Weeping Maidens. That is a most strange name, said Sir Galahad. Tell me why it is so called. Though I shall tell you, said the man, if you heed my words, you will turn back. 7 years ago, the Duke of Lenore was master of the castle and all the land around. Then one day, 7 cowardly knights, all brothers, came here, and were welcomed most hospitably, as is our custom. But those evil men had designs on the Duke's lovely daughter, and they killed the Duke and his sons, and took the maiden and the castle for themselves. Ever since, they have kept us all in bondage, robbing and plundering the poor people of all they have, and taking their prettiest maidens. Now you know why it is called the Castle of Weeping Maidens. Is the Duke's daughter still inside the castle? Asked Galahad. No, sir, said the man in sorrow. She died within 3 days of being taken. Sir Galahad was enraged at what he'd heard, and vowed to take revenge, freeing the poor people from their tyrants. Go forthwith to the castle, he said, and inform those 7 knights that Sir Galahad comes to fight them. Not long after the old man had disappeared to the castle, the 7 knights emerged, riding hard towards Sir Galahad. Would you fight me all together? Shouted Galahad to them. Yes, replied those cowardly men. Thereby we are sure to win. So Galahad set to his lance, and as one met 7, he knocked the nearest brother to the ground and broke his neck. 2 others struck him on the shield in passing, so hard their lances snapped, before last 4 knights were lying dead upon the field. His deed accomplished, Sir Galahad entered the gates of the Weeping Maiden's castle, and saw more maidens in his courtyard than he could count. All cheered and shouted to him, "Welcome, bold Sir Galahad, we have long awaited our deliverance." When he was assured of their safety, Sir Galahad bade farewell and went on his way in search of the Holy Grail. He rode on through forests and valleys, over plains and moors, encountering a host of brave adventurers, until one day he saw a damsel riding towards him, crying, "Sir Galahad, you have come at last, as I knew you would. Leave your horse for nearby. In the sea at Colime, a ship awaits to take you and 2 more of King Arthur's knights to the place of the Holy Grail." Faithfully obeying her instructions, Sir Galahad went on foot down to the shore to join the waiting ship, and thence began his last and greatest adventure in the quest for the Holy Grail. And that actually ends that part of the story. However, it does not end the last part for the search of the Holy Grail. So, considering I have been somewhat remiss in my duties, I believe that I shall keep going. I hope this thing's taping okay. Or recording, I suppose. It's not taping. It's not tape. There were a couple times I really wanted to interject stuff in there. That story. I really liked when Sir Bagdemagus, or Bagdemagus, I'm not sure how you're supposed to pronounce it, but I like how the monk told him, "Hey, this is supposed to be for the best knight." He's like, "Well, I'm not the best knight, but I'll take it." And then the white knight comes out and, knocks him off his horse and all that. It's like, dude, you just got served. Okay, so with that aside, finished. I'm gonna move on to the quest for the Holy Grail. It encompasses 1, 2, 3. It encompasses the exploits of at least 3 other knights, it looks like. The quest for the Holy Grail. Sir Lancelot's quest. Just after Sir Galahad had left the castle of Weeping Maidens, and before he joined the mysterious ship, he met its father, Sir Lancelot, riding through a forest in the company of Sir Percival. But the 2 knights from King Arthur's court did not recognize Sir Galahad, as he had his visor down, and bore the red cross shield. Seeing the strange knight, Sir Lancelot challenged him, and receiving no reply, set to his lance and charged. To his great surprise, however, the knight did not flinch at his approach. Instead, he dealt Lancelot a blow that knocked him to the ground, horse and all. The stranger knight then turned to meet the assault of Sir Percival, who was eager to avenge his companion. But Galahad swiftly fell silent. The knight mounted Lancelot's steed and rode away. All the while, Lancelot had lain there upon the ground, unable to move or speak. Now, as the moon appeared between the clouds, he managed to rise and approach the chapel. Once again, as before, the door was firmly locked. Yet, as he listened, he could hear voices inside singing so sweetly, it seemed like no earthly thing. Kneeling before the chapel door, he began to pray, "Sweet Jesus Christ, if I have displeased thee, I well deserve my punishment, but show me, I beg you, the vessel that I seek." At that, the chapel door opened, and Lancelot was blinded by the dazzling light that shone within. It was as bright as if all the torches in the world were there. Shielding his eyes, he was about to enter when a loud voice said, "Lancelot, enter on pain of death. You are unworthy." At once he drew back in great distress and sorrow. As his eyes grew accustomed to the dazzling light, he saw, in the center of the chapel, the silver table and the holy vessel covered in a red samite cloth. Drawn by irresistible forces towards the Holy Grail, he tried again to enter the chapel. Yet as he came forward, he felt a breath of withering fire which scorched his face so fiercely he fell down on a faint. Next day, when it was light, he felt many hands upon him, picking him up and carrying him, his lifeless body. He was taken to a castle, where he was laid on a wooden bed. The only sign of life in his body was the faint beating of his heart. Otherwise, it seemed as though he was dead. In such manner he lay, not moving day and night, until on the 25th day he opened his eyes and feebly spoke. The servants told him he had lain there 24 days and nights, and he knew at once that his illness was punishment for the 24 years that he had sinned by his love for King Arthur's wife. "Pray tell me," Sir Lancelot said, "what is this castle? Where do I lie?" "You are in the castle of Carbonek, home of the Holy Grail," an old man answered, "but you will see no more than you have seen of that vessel. Your quest is at an end. Your fate is harder than stone, more bitter than gall, more bare than the sands of the desert, for you have seen the Grail but are unworthy. Go now, Sir Lancelot, from this holy place, and return to Camelot." When Sir Lancelot heard this, he fell back as though struck a fearful blow, for the harsh words pierced his heart. The servants gave him a horse to bear him to the realm of Logray, so he could depart in deep sorrow. He rode through many realms, and came at last to Camelot, where he found King Arthur and the Queen. How pleased they were to see him, for over half of the knights of the Round Table had not returned from the quest. They were feared lost or dead. Sir Percival's Quest. When Sir Lancelot left him to follow Galahad, Sir Percival returned to the chapel and knelt to the hermit's window, saying, "Madam, I am a knight of King Arthur's court. My name is Percival of Gales. I shall not rest content until I have fought with that knight who shamed me. Pray tell me where I may find him." "Ah, Percival," she said, "I see that you are eager saw a strange woman leaning over him, her fierce eyes flashing. Sir Percival said, She said, "What are you doing here?" "I have no horse, so cannot continue upon my quest," he answered. "Then I shall lend you mine, which will take you wherever you wish to go," she said. Sir Percival was delighted with the offer and readily accepted. "Wait for me here," she told him. "I shall fetch my horse." So saying, she departed, but was soon back with a huge black stallion. Percival was astounded when he saw it, for never had he set eyes on so big and strong a steed. Leaping across the black monster's back, he sped off like the wind, flying on and on through the moonlit forest, and covering in an hour some 4 days' journey. At last the horse brought him to a raging sea that roared and thundered on to the beach. It seemed as though the steed would bear him into it, but just as Sir Percival reached the shore, he made the sign of the cross upon his forehead, and the black monster reared up, throwing its rider on to the sand. Without a pause it plunged into the foaming roar of waves, neighing eerily, and disappeared from sight. As Percival watched in horror, he saw the water burst into the flame where the beast had entered. Sir Percival knelt and offered a grateful prayer for his deliverance, for he now knew he had ridden a demon bent on taking him down to hell. He prayed all that night till dawn next day, and opened his eyes to see a barge sailing fast towards him as if all the winds in the world were driving it. The barge was covered with silk blacker than the blackest forest bare, and there was a gentle woman of great beauty standing at the prow. When she saw Sir Percival, she said, "Dear sir, what brings you to this wilderness where many men have perished of hunger and misadventure?" "Damosel," said Percival, "I serve the best king in the world, and he will not suffer me to die while in his service. I go where I will. But who, pray, are you?" "Once I was the richest gentlewoman of the realm, but my husband took all my money and drove me out, though I said not one word that could displease him. Since you are a knight of the Round Table, you surely would not refuse to aid a lady in distress." Sir Percival promised her all the assistance he might give, and she thanked him graciously. Summoning servants from the barge, she bade them pitch her pavilion upon the strand, and when it was ready, she invited Percival to enter and take refreshment. The day being warm, and Sir Percival parched and hungry, he readily accepted. He was amazed to see so many dishes and wines upon the table. He drank the strongest wine that he had ever tasted, and in no time at all he felt himself more lighted than he ought to be. The more he drank, the more he cast loving eyes upon the gentlewoman, and she on him, and the dimmer became the memory of his beloved wife at home in Camelot. When the lovely hostess saw him well merry from the wine, she said, "Sir Percival, I shall not yield my love to you unless you vow to be my loyal servant, and do all that I command you." "Fair lady," he replied, "I give you my word by my knighthood that I shall serve you truly." "In that case," she said sweetly, "you shall do with me now whatever takes your pleasure. Dear Sir Percival, you are the only knight in the world that I desire." As Sir Percival reached out his arms to embrace the fair lady, he noticed by chance the crucifix on his sword hilt, and recalled the vow made to his wife. At once he made the sign of the cross upon his forehead, and instantly the pavilion turned upside down, whisked upon itself the air in a black cloud of smoke, and flew towards the waves. And when Sir Percival looked towards the barge, he saw the lady standing there, her face black with rage, shaking her fist at him. The barge was driven away by demon winds, roaring and raging, and soon disappeared over the horizon, leaving a trail of burning water in its wake. So remorseful was Sir Percival at his near deceit that he drew his sword and drove it through his own thigh. "Since my flesh would be my master, I must punish it," he cried, and he lay down upon the earth, groaning from the pain in his heart and body. Shortly after, he swooned away and lay there long unconscious. When at last he came to, he saw another ship moored by the same shore, and a holy man bending over him. "Sir Percival," the old man said, "come, enter the ship that awaits you here. You will overcome all the trials and temptations. That dame you met with, her black stallion, and the gentlewoman from the black barge were demons sent from hell, but you resisted them. Now come, Sir Galahad awaits you on board. We lack only Sir Bors de Ganis, who will be with us shortly." procession moved closer, and the maidens set the candles down upon the table, and next to them the Grail covered in its cloth, and the spear next to the Grail. Then the maidens all withdrew. As the three knights gazed on in silence, they saw the figure of a man appear out of the holy vessel, bleeding openly from his side. "My knights and my true children," the figure said, "I shall no longer hide myself from you. I shall reveal something of my secrets that no other being has seen." With that, he picked up the holy vessel and came to Galahad, offering him to drink. Galahad drank deeply from the vessel, and his two companions followed suit. When they had each tasted the holy wine, the apparition gave them his blessing and vanished out of sight. After several moments, Galahad rose and took up the spear lying on the table, bearing it from the chamber to King Pellam's bed. There, holding the bleeding spear above King Pellam's open wound, he let the drops of blood fall freely. At once, the king was cured, and rose up from his couch. "Thank you, Sir Galahad, my dear grandson," he said. "For many years I have suffered more pain than any man has yet endured, awaiting your coming. Now I am well again and can live out my life in peace." His mission accomplished, Galahad returned to the sacred room to face his companions. Going up to Sir Percival, he kissed him warmly. Then he went up to Sir Bors and kissed him too, commending them both to God. "Sir Bors," said Galahad, "pray salute my father for me the moment you return, and bid him remember the frailty of human life on earth. Remember me to King Arthur and all the court." With that, he picked up the Holy Grail, and holding it most reverently began to pray. And as he knelt there praying, his soul departed from his body and was carried up to heaven by a host of angels. In all, the two knights looked on as a hand without a body suddenly appeared, took up the Holy Grail and the bleeding spear, and took them out of sight. They were never seen on earth again. When Percival and Bors realized that Sir Galahad lay dead, they lamented more than men ever have at the death of another. He was buried in the chapel of Castle Carbonek, and as soon as this was done, Percival retired to a monastery, exchanging his armor for a simple habit. Sir Bors stayed with him, though, since he intended to return one day to Logray, he did not take religious vows. For a year and 2 months lived Percival in full holy life, and then passed out of this earthly world. Sir Bors buried him in great sadness, then made his way back to the sea, where he found the white ship waiting for him. When he was back in Logray, he rode fast to Camelot, and was met with great joy within the court, for many had believed him dead, that long had he been away. He told the story of the Holy Grail, how he and Percival and Sir Galahad had seen and drunk from it, how Sir Galahad's soul had passed from him as he held the holy vessel, and how Sir Percival too had died in the monastery. This tale of the quest for the Holy Grail was written down at Arthur's command, and the manuscript later placed in a library at Salisbury. In conclusion, Sir Bors turned to Lancelot and said, "Just before he died, your son asked me to salute you on his part, and bid you be mindful of the frailty of human life. He sent it to his greetings. He sent it to his greetings to King Arthur and all the court." Hot tears rolled down Sir Lancelot's cheeks as he embraced Sir Bors, and recalled him how he himself had failed in his mission for the Holy Grail, and he knew well the reason why. Now that the quest for the Holy Grail had been fulfilled, and the knights that remained alive to return to Camelot, there was great joy at court, but there was sadness too, since many seats stood empty about the table, and no new names appeared in golden letters upon the empty chairs. There were no new knights to take the places of those now dead, and King Arthur knew that the glory of Logray was drawing to a close. And that, according to this book, is everything that happened in the search for the Holy Grail. So you basically got the entire quest in today's whisper. I hope that this whisper came out well. I always feel I can't quite tell what I sound like, of course, while it's recording, so I'm always a little bit nervous that I'll have read the entire thing and it not have actually taped. But hopefully it taped okay, and I'm not talking also found I got